Alright, hello everyone. Today I'm doing my 1000 days challenge. This is day 519 and a very good new year to everyone. So yep, it's finally the 1st of January 2022. So plan-wise, I'll be updating more in details in the coming weeks because I still have a little bit of a indecision in terms of what I'm going to focus for this coming year itself. So definitely I'd rather not rush things out, especially for the yearly plan itself. And in the start of the year itself, I'm also actually focusing on a couple of things, but I'm actually also trying to narrow down because like what I mentioned, there's too many things out there for me to focus, and I'm trying to narrow down what would be more ideal to focus in the next coming 3 months, 6 months for the year ahead itself. So yeah, without further ado, let's get things started. So in terms of balance, why nothing much has changed. I did close a couple of trade in terms of loss wise for experimental trade setup. I still do the sudden pullback yesterday itself, but also I think one of them closed in terms of profit. I need to check in terms of that after this recording itself. So in terms of the yearly update itself, you can look in terms of the monthly trend. It still remains the same throughout. The board, S&P or US market generally remains to be really strong and bullish, closing with near all-time high at the end of the year. But this also means that coming this year itself, 2022, it will be a very tough year to make into new all-time high without having a decent pullback along the way itself. So you can see that overall, if you look in terms of the US market itself, on the daily chart, we actually trended very nicely towards upside, maintaining above the 150-day simple moving average since the COVID crash itself in the early 2020. So over here, we maintain all the way strongly above, and this is going like, wouldn't say parabolic, but going a very nice upward trend kind of momentum on the daily chart. And if you look in terms of a weekly chart, then you look a little bit more parabolic because we're maintaining above the 20 exponential moving average. So you can see that previously the healthy trend was maintaining above the 50 simple moving average. And that's when we may have a very strong pullback here and even here itself. So let's see how things goes. But overall, do bear in mind that if we do have a retracement because of such a huge push towards the upside, a retracement could definitely bring us down towards the, let me just shift it back correctly. But yeah, so a retracement definitely will have a significant impact if you were to put it this way. So yeah, even if we do retrace towards here to the 4,200 mark, which would technically be a drop of say, let me just bring it up. Yeah, that would be a technical drop of at least close to 10% itself, but even then it will still be a very, very healthy drop. But yet people will be panicking, saying that things is going to be bearish and stuff like that. But overall, technically, we are still looking to be bullish, and even if we do drop over here, it's just a 20% drop. Of course, in terms of equity-wise, people will say 20% drop is very drastic, but I personally think that's perfectly fine in terms of equity-wise as well. Yeah. All right, and over here you can see we actually had a 35% drop. So nothing to be too concerned about, I would say. If there is actually some 10 to 20% drop, we're very keen to add in the bigger position size as well. All right, so same thing goes for Nasdaq. We closed near the all-time high region itself. So tentatively, we've been trending towards the upside. Not too concerned about it. Overall, we still look to be very healthy. And finally, for ASHR itself, looking a little bit flat, but overall, you can still see to be trending very up and nicely. The only thing is for KWEB itself, the tech stocks for China looks to be really, really bad. We've closed with a new all-time low, even lower than the 2019 start of it itself. And even during the COVID crash, it actually didn't impact that much for China market, as you can see. So you can see the China market reacts very differently from the remainder market in the other parts of the world itself. And that's basically, I think that's something to take note of. And that's something that I've learned across the 1 to 2 years period I've been invested in the China market as well. Yeah, so definitely factor that into a consideration moving forward. And in terms of Bitcoin wise, definitely we do look a little bit shaky, especially when we didn't have a very nice bounce last week, but it seems that with this week we are likely to close with 1 day and 21 hours to go. We are likely to close below it for the second time in the row, which is definitely not a good sign. But bear in mind that we have actually have a very huge climb. So even if we do have some sort of retracement, finding support near the 32K mark will still be very relatively healthy. And yeah, so let's see how things goes. I'm still leaning towards a bullish momentum for the near 2022 to 2025 period that will be much higher than where we are right now. So if you're invested for the long term wise, I think especially for Bitcoin, I think it's perfectly fine. But bear in mind that Bitcoin definitely wouldn't give you the best return in the next 2 to 3 years compared to other tokens, be if you're talking about Solana, Terra, Luna, or if you're talking about ADA and stuff like that. Those are a lot more speculative and a lot more potential returns in that sense, but similarly, they give a much higher risk. Yep. So in terms of 4-hour chart, nothing much to be traded about. Like I mentioned here, it's a little bit choppy over here. It's uncertain whether the market will go up or down in the next coming days or week. But until a clearer trend has formed, I would say that I will stay clear of the market when it comes to trading on the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin at least. For other chart whereby it's more clearly defining, like certain charts I remember was trending very nicely, like Atom right now is trending very nicely now. And then you also have Algo, which is trending quite okay and things like that. So you can definitely look into that. Otherwise, that's more or less about it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop by your comments below, or I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.